No, I understand. No, I get it. When you're ready, Kano. All good? Let us begin. Hi everyone, I'm Frank Inglis from SnapThirty and I'm here with Mr. Danny Choo. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being with us. Now, look, I have all these questions here that I've prepared, but I want to go off paper. I want to ask you some of the hard-hitting questions.
Got it.
You know, no one will ever ask you these questions.
Okay.
What do you think of Sydney?
Sydney's been great. It's been cool, which is good because it's very hot in Tokyo right now. The first day was a bit too cold, and but yeah, it's been great.
That's good. I want to actually go into the proper questions now. Okay. Now, every success story has its humble beginnings, right? My assumption is that you also had a humble beginning.
Yeah, I guess so.
Would you like to explain that to us, just where you came from and how you came up?
It's kind of a long story, but I'll try to keep it short.
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
I don't know where to start. Okay. My parents moved over to the UK from Malaysia, and my mum was trying to make ends meet as a nurse, and my dad was trying to make ends meet as a shoemaker.
Correct.
They didn't have time to look after me, so they stuck me in various different homes, and I spent most of my time being raised by foster parents.
Okay.
And they didn't really keep me under this staircase.
Right, it wasn't a Harry Potter situation.
No. But it's a room above the staircase.
Okay.
And I've had the upbringing was not such a happy experience. I've been dragged through gravel, had my stuff set on fire too.
Wow.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. And so for a long time, during up until my teens and even my early 20s, I was very lost and had no idea what I wanted to do.
Right.
No idea.
I think actually a lot of people are like that. Just in general, we kind of are lost.
But then I discovered the Holy Grail.
Which was?
Japanese culture.
Wow.
Yes. So I discovered Japanese culture through the Sega Mega Drive.
Oh, really?
Sega Mega Drive and Macross Super Dimension Fortress, the really old, the retro.
Yeah.
That was 30 years ago. And so discovered those titles, and I wanted to learn more.
Right.
And which led me to a Japanese bookshop in London. So there's no internet at the time, so you have to go to a bookshop.
Okay. Yeah.
And now there are internets, and all the bookshops have been closing down. But anyway, and so I discovered more Japanese culture through there, and I just wanted to learn more and more about the culture. Right.
And what was the first big, let's say, anime or even manga that you picked up that really made you go whoa, this is it's such a crazy thing, and I love it.
Yeah, well, for the anime it was Super Dimension Fortress Macross, and for manga I guess it was Ranma Nippon no Ichi.
Right.
Ranma half, yeah.
Yeah.
So I learned lots of useful and maybe not so useful Japanese from Ranma.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about modern titles? What are you into, I guess, now? I know you're a busy man, but surely you sometimes get around to picking up some of the media?
Modern titles. Let's have a look. It was not that modern, but one of the titles I really enjoyed and I watched from beginning to end was Nodame Kantabiru.
Okay.
That's really nice.
Right.
Yeah, and it was an anime which my wife enjoyed at the same time as well, actually.
There's nothing better than being able to share something like that with your partner.
Yeah. So it was very humorous, and it wasn't. I think lots of anime these days they have fan service is important for the anime industry so that they can sell the Blu-rays afterwards.
Right.
So that they can recuperate the costs.
Yeah.
So all the mist disappears in the Blu-ray version, and then it's just there in your face, and it helps them cover their costs.
Yeah.
But Nodame wasn't really like that. It was just a very a daily life type of thing.
Right.
And, it was a very nice anime to watch.
Which is a huge subgenre too, the daily life.
Yeah.
And heaps of people love it. But so you've kept with it this whole time through your incredibly busy life. You've kept up with.
Yeah, and I think part of my work also requires me to watch anime as well.
Yeah.
So when I do lots of MCing. So this Yeah, I MC for Noriaki Sugiyama,
Okay.
and he does like voices of Sasuke.
Sasuke, yeah.
Yeah, and so I do lots of work with voice actors and actresses and producers for like other anime events as well.
Right.
So so I'm actually required to like watch anime, which is kind of like good because it like forces me to like make time to like
Yeah. So you watch a lot of Naruto then?
Naruto is something that is on. It's actually on prime time Japanese TV.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like all the other anime, it's on it's like way past midnight. So like titles
Really?
like Naruto have like such a huge reach. It's like incredible reach.
See, I didn't know that at all. I thought, because I guess here in Australia, like we have programs like Toonami on Cartoon Network that'll show it after 12 o'clock. I didn't realise it was the same in Japan.
Yeah, so a lot of it is actually, so if you have a look at maybe like Anime News Network, they'll like show the showing times, and you'll see that the times are like at odd hours, like 25 p.m.
Right.
So in Japan, they have that, so 25 p.m. would be 1 p.m.
Yep.
26 p.m.
Yep.
2 p.m. and so on and so on. So it's basically broadcast on like local TV stations. Where the broadcasting fee is like a little bit more cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Naruto is smack bang in the middle of prime
It's like
time.
prime time on like one of the major stations. Like everyone watches it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Now, so you told us about your humble beginnings and you told us about what's helped you come up. What do you have to say to anyone that does want to do something similar to you to break out in Japanese pop culture or pop culture at all? Because this is a pretty hard industry.
Well, I basically started off with sharing what I like on my blog basically, and I think that so like two of the Anisong artists this year, KZ Live Tune and Yanagi Nagi, in a press conference they also mentioned that they started off by like sharing their stuff like online.
Okay.
So I think that basically starting off by sharing online is a good start, and you get to like reach up so many people like straight away. And it's very important to like be very descriptive, and choose a good title.
Okay.
Now the mistake that a lot of bloggers do when they're writing a title, choosing a title for a blog post, is that they choose something like really long.
Sure.
For example, let's have a look. I went to Akihabara and this is what I saw. I mean, it's descriptive, but it's okay, but it's not going to win you any points in search engine optimization.
Right.
Yeah.
So how would you cut that down then?
So I would cut it down to something like Akihabara visit.
Okay.
Or
sure.
Akihabara map.
Right.
Because when people search, do searches, they actually choose 2 or 3 keywords. And if you do that, then it's more likely to surface your stuff to the top because it's a little bit more relevant.
Okay.
So be wise when you choose your topics. And also add a photo as well.
Right.
Because photos really does complement your post for human to read. Sure. And it also does help with your search engine rankings as well, because a lot of people do like Google image searches as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as content goes, what do you think? Short and sweet, or put your own personality in it?
I think that there are lots of short and sweet like blogs out there already. But if you want to go that route, if you don't have that much time, I think that's fine as well.
Sure.
I try to do a bit more longer.
Okay.
And so when I do like an Akihabara Shops post, it's maybe like a post of like 50 photos. So it's something that you can like relax in the chair and like just like consume through, rather than have a look at one photo, one line, and then that's it.
Then have to click back and go to a different article and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have a fantastic blog, and it's sizable and it's amazing.
Thank you.
And I mean, you recount like almost every little bit of your life, and it was perfect for someone like me who's coming to interview you because that made it so easy. How is that where it all? That's where it all started. And then how did you branch out? What did people come to you? Did you go to them? Explain to us that.
So basically, I like shared my life about like living in Japan, like on my website, and that's attracted like a following of readers. And through that, like manufacturers became interested in my reach, and also through like networking, I got to like make build lots of relationships with like folks in the anime industry basically.
Okay.
And so once that happens, then you're like trusted. So there's the thing about Japanese and trust, and so Japanese folks generally, it's not all Japanese folks.
Okay.
They don't like doing business with people who they don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if there's like an introduction, or they can like be in a place whereby there's something mutual which like brings them together. Let's say they all like attend some sort of like an anime launch party.
Right.
They have like a common like understanding, like a theme of like they're there for a reason.
Right.
So usually that makes it like much more easier actually.
Just being introduced to someone, knowing someone.
Yeah. Again, it's like not all Japanese folks are like that.
Sure.
But a lot are.
And so then, is it a matter of then networking through those people, so they introduce you to the people that they know, and then they'll introduce you to the people that they know, and that's how you build it?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. So,
sorry, no, continue. Go ahead.
And once you start networking with folks, you obviously network for a reason, and some may be for like sharing information, but some may be for doing like a collaboration work.
Right.
So, like my work with King Records, for example.
Yep.
So I've made like lots of websites for them, and once I've done the work for them, then word gets out that okay, Danny's reliable, and he's like done this work basically.
Right.
So, so I've like done stuff like Production IG. They launched a Cyborg 009
Yes.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So I like done all the websites and all the like online marketing for the English speaking population there.
Right.
And this stuck me in the credits, so I was like,
Okay.
as I was watching it in movies, oh, got my name's there. So like quite surprised.
So it's a lot of like referrals. That's how it is.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but especially in the Japanese the Japanese industry, I find.
Right.
Yeah. So like when you're overseas, like when I'm like overseas in Asia, you can like just like go to someone and you can like start a business deal or talk right there and there.
Okay.
But for Japan, it's like there's a much more, you kind of like really like need like the way you need dough, like for baking bread.
Right.
You need to like work on the relationship.
It's quite a process.
Yeah.
Now, from your blog, just blogging about your everyday life, we've then come to this little lady here. Now, since you are her creator, essentially, would you like to explain exactly who she is and what she is?
So Mirai is, she's always been like a mascot on my website since 2007. And so we released her last year. So she's basically the, I guess the 3D representation of what she has always been, basically. And rather than, so if there's an interview and I take out like a flat postcard, oh, this is Mirai.
Yep.
This is Mirai.
This is her.
So much more impact, and there's much more room for like interesting collaborations, like fashion collaborations,
right,
and so on and so on.
Now, is that her main purpose, or the smart dolls in general?
Well, the main purpose is because I personally wanted Mirai in a tangible form that could accompany me, and if I was going to make her for myself, I may as well make her for like everybody.
Right.
And so I put it in the production line and processes needed to like maintain the quality control and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And so here she is, and we've sold like thousands, and she's lots of folks send in photos of them with our product, and it's always very humbling to see how she has like she's starting to like change people's lives.
Do you feel like a proud father looking on?
Yeah,
with
I
all
guess so,
these
yeah.
images from these people?
I guess so. Yeah.
You know, because she's your conception, and she's now become a thing, an
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
thing. It's not just one thing. It's an entirety of. It's multifaceted media essentially, because she's the face of you. She's the face of the site. She's the face of everything. And now she's got a lot to do with fashion. Now, where does that love for fashion come from?
So the fashion comes from my previous work with my father.
Okay.
So my father's first name is Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
and he makes shoes, and I used to work with him in his studio, like making shoes as well.
Okay.
So I can design and pattern cut and stitch and so on and so on.
Right.
And but working with him, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to like achieve my dream of like living a life of Japan.
Right.
And because he didn't have like anything to do with Japan at that time. He started making shoes like for Vogue and Elle and like local clients. And so I left, and I had to like go and get a job in a restaurant to like fuel my passion for Japanese pop culture.
Right, and even at that young, you had learned Japanese, you had mastered the language.
Well, not really mastered. I learned Japanese through again like anime, manga, like
Okay.
ranma, and so my Japanese was very colloquial, and it's difficult to do Japanese business in Japan with a colloquial. It really needs to be like business Japanese.
Right.
So I went to London University to like basically brush up my Japanese, which helped a lot. So
did you notice like a sizable difference when you were dealing with like the Japanese like businessmen or?
So I went to university to learn business Japanese, but it wasn't business Japanese that they taught me. It was more correct Japanese.
Okay. Yes.
So business Japanese is something that you just need to learn on the job, basically.
Right.
So there's.
You're talking like how you hold yourself in a conversation with certain people
Well,
and
it's
the
like
words you use.
Yeah, in society. So like in
Right.
Japan, when people start work and finish work, they say something. They say "otsukare-sama desu,"
Okay.
which means, and it's difficult to translate. It's literally translated means that you are very tired. So you've had like a hard day's worth of work. So, but it's like a greeting basically.
Right.
They don't really teach you that in university, and it's just something that you need to like pick up on the job.
But that's the culture though, isn't it? Like that's where you learn the actual local culture.
Yeah.
And I suppose every part of Japan has different styles, right?
Yeah. I think when you go to Osaka, folks seem to be a bit more friendly, more open.
Why
more
is that?
approachable. I'm not too sure actually. People say that folks in Tokyo are like folks from New York, a bit like standoffish and a bit cold. And, they go about their own business.
It's like the big city life.
I guess so, yeah. But I haven't found that to be quite so in Tokyo. But I guess that's because I walk around in a stormtrooper outfit and people tend to talk to me.
Right.
But I have spoken to like some people in Tokyo. I'm like lost. I'm going to like Keio University for a talk. I asked somebody, "Excuse me, is Keio University this way?" And he kind of like, he was like so shocked that I talked to him.
Why do you think?
I don't know. Maybe he's like not used to speaking to people.
Just people in general.
Yeah. It's happened quite a few times, and but yeah, in Osaka you don't really get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Japan seems like a very what's what I'm looking for. It's like they know exactly what they need to do, what they have to do, what they like. This friend of mine off camera who also works for SnapThirty just went to Japan and told us a story about there was a minor earthquake when he was walking around, and everyone that was around just kind of stopped until it went, and then they went on their way, whereas he was freaking out because I mean we've come from Australia, we don't have earthquakes here.
Oh, okay.
So how did you meld into that culture? Was it just through interaction?
So I feel that before I moved to Japan, I spent a lot of time visiting Japan like every year.
Okay.
And so worked in restaurants, saved up money. Worked in a restaurant for a year, and then saved enough money to like visit Japan like once a year basically.
Yep.
And by spending time with my Japanese friends, I feel that learning the culture basically helps you understand the language.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's very important to like actually like go out there and like spend time with like Japanese friends.
Right.
So yeah.
And how much have Japanese culture correct? Because you see a lot of stereotypes and a lot of like things that come through in anime. Such a Japanese thing, but sometimes you just can't think that.
I think lots of the slice of life stuff is pretty much spot on.
Right.
And so you're at I don't know like a rail crossing or like a shopping arcade.
Yep.
At a what do you call them? Jonathan. What do you call Jonathan? The 24-hour diners.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
So that is it's pretty much spot on really.
And
so yeah.
And you'll go and have a deep conversation with your friend on the side of a river.
Oh yes,
Right.
they exist as well. So, so rivers, I think they make them in such a way so that when there's an earthquake, so obviously the sea level rises and like the river levels will rise.
Right.
So basically you have a river and then you have like two green slopes.
Yep.
Like this.
Yeah.
So they actually exist in Japan, and people like walk, do jogging and like.
Wow, and then go and so there is a little bit based in reality.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I don't assume you see plenty of Japanese school kids running to school with toast in their mouth or still eating breakfast. Maybe you do.
For that,
that's a huge anime trope that you see.
Yeah, yes, it is. Maybe that's not an accurate representation of like everyone.
No.
Maybe like one or two people.
And that's just the way it kind of is. Like Australia, like people that aren't from Australia think we're all desert and kangaroos and crocodiles, and we're clearly not because we're at a race course right now.
The hay, the ball of like what's it called? The hay that like rolls around in the wind.
Oh right, the tumbleweed.
Tumbleweeds, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
And I heard about drop bears. I was like concerned.
Drop bears, koalas. That's an age-old.
I know.
yeah.
I know now. So someone said to me, when you go to Sydney, beware of drop bears. So I've done a search for drop bears on Twitter, and I saw these like pictures of like people with like heads ripped off and like.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, like stitched up. But,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so docile of a creature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You'd probably be more worried about a kangaroo boxing you.
Yeah.
That may actually be true. Maybe one of the stereotypes that are true.
So in Japan, there's something called a kappa. I don't know whether you know that.
Kappa, yes, I actually do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's the same sort of thing, I guess. Right? But
Right.
kappas don't really eat you.
I mean, and kappas, I guess, are mythological, whereas kangaroos, I'm pretty sure they're real.
Well, drop bears.
Oh, yes, of course, no, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, is it true that there are actual signs around Japan in, like, rivers and lakes with warnings about them?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think they do that for, it's kind of like fun to see, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's really nice.
Yeah,
I think that brings a bit of whimsy to the world. Because we do live in, I guess, a pretty standard world, and
we don't have signs like saying beware of drop bears.
No, we don't have any of them. We need them, I think.
I think they'll be.
Australians get even that little extra bit more lighthearted.
Yes.
And I think we're actually out of time now.
Okay.
I heard you have many places to be, many people to see. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for having me.
And I hope you've enjoyed yourself in Australia.
I have. Thank you very much.
See you later, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.